When you're using the VLOOKUP in a large spreadsheet environment, it can be quite tedious for you to type all of the other VLOOKUPs in manually. What you want to do is to be able to copy this one across the sheet. Now, when you copy this across, we have a problem, because if we take a look at our formula, we've got a static number 2. Remember, that represents the column number. Now, when you copy this across other cells, it's not relative, so it won't change to any other number. It will remain 2. And you would have to go in and change those individually. Now, on a sheet such as this that's quite small, that's not a problem. But when you've got 10, 15 or 20 columns that you have to copy the VLOOKUP across, it would be nice to automate that number. And we can do that by using a formula, a function word. And the function word we're going to use is called column. If I demonstrate it here, equals column, open bracket. Now all it wants is a reference. Whatever cell reference I give it, it will return the number of the column. So for example, if I was to click in, for example, cell C2, now what it'll actually return is the number 3. Why? Because the column C is the third column. Remember, the function word column will always return the numerical value of a column. So if we enter that, it gives us the number 3. Now, because that formula is relative, it's looking at a cell, in this case C2. If I was to copy this cell across, you'll notice it changes number, because the formula is relative and it's now moved to D2 and E2. So what we could do here is, if we go back to our formula, instead of putting a static 2, we could actually specify the column function word, which returns a number 2. Now, the column that represents the number 2 is column B. So what I would type in here is column, open bracket. Now, it doesn't matter which cell I click in, it can be any of these cells in the B column. So if I click on this one here, B7, remember the 7's got nothing to do with it, it's the B that it's interested in. Close bracket. If we enter that, you'll notice no change, because it's bringing the second column. But when we copy this across, it will change to a 3, a 4 and a 5. Now there's one other piece of automation we want to do on this formula. If we take another look, you'll notice that the first item, the first attribute we look up, is the reference code in B4. Now, of course, that's relative, which means that if I copy this across the other columns to move it across, of course, this will also follow me because it's not locked. Now, although this was covered on earlier courses, we need to put a padlock, which is represented by a $sign. I want to lock that reference into column B, so it can't move out of column B. So if I type a $sign just in front of the B, that's going to lock this little blue reference cell into column B. If we enter, we can now copy this VLOOKUP formula across. You can either copy or paste, or just use the autofill handle. As I pull that across, you'll notice it's working correctly on all of these. And that's how to automate your VLOOKUP.